Okay guys, welcome back to the channel and thank you for tuning in to Johnny's Motorized Bicycles. As always, I need you to hit the like, I need you to hit the subscribe, and most important to me, I need you to leave me a comment in the comment section. There's also a link down in the description for Johnny's Motorized Bicycles Facebook group. Please go down there and join that. Free, most everyone has Facebook, and we keep the combo going. You get good intel, and you can also give good intel, which is one of the best parts about the whole community and helping each other. What do we got going on today? Well, that's a good question. What we got going on today is my girl Tweaker. You all know my girl Tweaker, and there was an issue. We'll just say that. All right, so now you know we have Tweaker in front of us. I've been walking around it and kind of pointing things out, like how the handlebars are broken, bent. This one's kinked. It was bent way farther, but I already pulled it out a little. The mirror is completely loose, missing, and the metal is broken. And the next thing, the clutch lever is completely broken. As you can see, it still pulls on the clutch lever, the clutch bucket arm, because of the way it actually broke. It still keeps the pressure there if you need it, but you can't set it to sit. It won't hold it, and it's also completely just broken off. Another thing with that is the bike is sitting still. The clutch is, look, the clutch is out. Okay, the clutch is engaged, and we're just going to go ahead and push the bike straight forward, and it rolls effortlessly. That is not good. So the clutch is definitely engaged, but whatever is inside the motor that turns everything, which all we know is it goes a shaft from the clutch side all the way to the drive side, to the sprocket, to the chain, something in the middle. Everything is here working, unless the keyway is sheared off, which I didn't open it up yet, as you can see. Everything in here is still engaging, so my assumption is something in the middle, which would be the clutch shaft, is probably broken in half and sheared. Now what had happened is I made a poor life decision. I don't know if you've noticed a trend here, but every time I either lend Benny one of my bikes or an item, it comes back broken within the next couple days. So Benny needed to get to the doctor. His bike is trashed because he got hit by a car, because poor life decisions on his behalf. And that's why we're going to be building him a new bike. That is the motor we're going to be putting on Tweaker temporarily to get it broken in and stuff for his new bike. But we might just not do the new bike, and we might just give him Tweaker. We're not decided yet. Since he decided to destroy Tweaker on me, I might just be like, look bro, this is what you get, and enjoy it. We haven't decided yet. I haven't decided yet what's going to happen. He is my buddy. We are good friends, so I know he's got my back, and I got to have his back to the best of my abilities financially that I can afford to, which has been fairly expensive since I've been buddies. But nonetheless, I got to do my best to help out when I can. So all that being said, you may have noticed a trend. Every time I give something to him, it breaks. Well, this was no different. He was riding the bike normal. I wasn't there obviously, and there's no footage of it, but he was riding my bike normal, and all of a sudden the rear wheel just locked up on him. And from my understanding is he was smoking a cigarette, so he did not have both hands on the handlebars when the rear wheel locked up, and I'm guessing that's what threw him off, and he went flying forward and fell down, and that's why all this stuff got broken. Is what it is. But whatever happened on the inside, I don't think was his fault or anything, because I think it was just a lot of mileage. So you know, this motor I put on months ago, 4 or 5, maybe 6 months ago, I don't even know anymore. There is well over 1,000 miles on this motor already, easily. This was my main daily before I got Jokester up and running and what have you, and I was riding the snot out of this. This is what I took to Elizabeth and pulled all the trailer, pulled a lot of weight with this thing. You know how I use my bike. I use it like a workhorse. It is my little pickup truck. It's my Ford Ranger.
Ford Ranger! I know this truck. I ain't no stranger. I know that truck. That's a Ford Ranger! Ford Ranger!
So it's got a lot of miles on it. Now the clutch, when I did this motor, the bottom end, the top was new. I won it in that raffle or whatever from Build Break Fix. So the top was all brand new, but the bottom end was already pre-used and used well. One of my YD100 bottoms in. So the clutch was already, let's say, 5 to 10,000 miles on it, on top of the 15 at least that I put on here with this. Not to mention all the work towing. I'm heavy to begin with. It's got a lot of miles on it. It's got a lot of hard miles. Now I do take care of it. It's dirty because it's a daily, but I do maintenance it and take care of it well. So whatever broke was just time for it to break. Unfortunately, he wasn't holding on right, or just shocked him and scared him a little, and it was a surprise, and that's why everything else got broken, because he's a big jerk. But is what it is. It's not really his fault. even though it is his fault. But we're gonna say it's not so it doesn't feel so bad. So it is what it is. We're gonna take this apart now. So I showed you how everything's not working, but is working in a weird way. So we're gonna take the motor off. We're gonna switch it out. I'm gonna take that inside. I'm gonna completely gut this motor and go through it. Just give it a good freshen up and once over. Maybe change some port timings. Some, you know, I'm always evolving and learning to do better and make more power more reliably. And that's my goal all the time, to constantly evolve and do better. No different on my daily. So I have a couple things I want to try. Maybe even just switch out another top end that I have upstairs just sitting there, because I wanted to try that now that I know what the bottom end problem was. No matter what, that is going to get traded out for this. So you already saw this in a video. We had this on the mule I put it together and I wanted to try it out to see how it did, see if it started up. I never tried an Oz reed, always wanted to. I love the size of it, and I just think it's probably the best reed you could go with if you want to do a reed valve for a basic daily kind of build, because of the size, and there's way less mechanics behind it and less to do. You don't need reed stuffers and all this extra stuff to make it work and do the same thing that all the big ones do. So I really wanted to try it and see how it is. So I figured, why not experiment on his bike and his new motor, because it's not me, right? It makes sense to me. So we call him the guinea pig. We're gonna take this off and we're gonna put this on tweaker, and then I can ride it around a little, he can ride it around a little. We'll make sure everything else is good. Everything else should be good. The wheels are all fine and stuff. I'm sure the axle's due to break any minute now, because that's just the way this bike does as we go through axles. But honestly, this axle has been holding on really well for a long time, because of what I started doing to the rear axles and the way I put them together. So you know, knock on a crappy sign made by a child, that should be fine actually. So we're going to put this on, but it needs to be tuned. We did start it up on the mule, and honestly it started right up and it ran half okay-ish, but it definitely wasn't tuned right. So it's got a stock jet, a 70 jet in it. We got to figure out where we got to go with the jetting. We just got to tune it up and take it from there and see what happens. But I think all in all, she's ready to go. Now, if you don't know already, this is a 49mm iron sleeve motor. Port work done by Johnny's Motorized Bicycles, aka me. Now this had, if you saw the video, had a lot of issues that I think I rectified and made 100% perfect and good to go. So that's the main thing, is we want to test out everything that I did, the port work and the reed itself, just to see if everything's functioning and if we can get it to tune out right. I want to tune it with a basic NT speed carburetor. Why? Because I like the simplicity. The NT I have jets for, you know, these I have jets for, so I don't need to worry about buying new jets for the Bofang from the Predators or whatever nonsense. It's just simple and easy. Plus, I just like the whole idea of having an NT speed carb. I love these carbs. I got them on every one of my bikes because they're just so simple. There's nothing extra going on with them. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do all that today. Okay, I got the motor mounted and on. There's still a lot of stuff that's got to be done to this bike for it to be usable. Choke on, choke off. Ooh, my hands are cold. I don't know how cold it is, but it's cold. I just wanted to get the motor on and mounted so that I could start spending some time breaking it in, tuning it, and whatnot, because he needs to be able to get around, and I don't want to leave my girl tweaker just sitting in the weeds, so to speak. Boy, the more I ride it, the better it's getting too. I mean, considering it is a brand new motor, I mean, it's never been used. I literally rode it around the block once. I think it's lean for sure. You can hear just the way it, with no weight on the motor, it bogs down. It's definitely lean, because it runs better with a little bit of choke. Yeah, put the choke on just now. It's already revving better. You want to take it? You want to take it? Yeah, I'm leaving the choke halfway on. It should be, if it doesn't run good with that, and turn it off, but it doesn't have like good get up and go because it's just not running right. Remember, this handle's messed up, so just be ready. But all in all, she's good. Yeah, just don't, yeah, starts right up. Don't go too fast though. It's a good little motor. I can't wait to get this thing tuned up and broken in. It is gonna be a little monster. I mean, literally, when I had it on the mule, you saw I rode it around the block twice. That's it, because the motor mount was messed up, so I didn't want to take any chances with it. So you just saw I just rode it about double what I rode it the entire time. I'm really happy with that. You really can't ask for more than that. It needs to be tuned. It's got a stock jet, like I said, so I'm thinking probably 80-ish, somewhere in there. I don't know. We'll figure all that out when it comes time. But for now, I told him we'll give him this bike. Really, I told him there was 3 bikes he could choose from. This was not one of them. But he really wanted the setup with those kind of brakes and all that. The bike looks so much better with a black motor. You got your foot stuck in a basket. But yo, she's running real nice. She's lean. I think she's real lean. It bogs down bad. But sounds good too for that exhaust. But that exhaust that's the modified one. It's not stock. For a stock looking pipe, you can't tell me that don't sound good.
Yeah.
I figured since we have to fix the handlebars, I had another set of shocks that I wanted to put on here, and I wanted to put these on here for this reason. Now these are both, they were both SR Sanator, both the ones previous and these, but these have the mount for the brakes, and that's the main thing I want. I wanted to have the brake rotor. Well, I've always had the brake rotor on here. I don't know if you ever noticed, but I've always had the brake rotor on these wheels because they are made for it, but I've never actually had a setup for the actual brake caliper. So that's why I wanted to switch it out. I figured since we're doing all this, might as well do it. Now, I had a little bit of trouble up here getting the right spacing because the threads didn't go deep enough for how long this neck is from the shocks that came off. So I made it work. I got everything measured out and put in correctly and bolted down nice and tight and snug like a bug. So we're ready to put the handlebars on now. That's where these come in. So these are the bars I'm putting on. This is the original neck, and these are the bars I'm gonna put. They're old, you can probably see it, old Mongoose bars. I'm gonna put these on here because I really like the style. Now, I did want to put something else on, a different neck, but that didn't happen. So I'm gonna stick with this neck, use these bars. I really dig the overall sportier look it's getting. Now, this motor, you probably saw me build it. I'm not sure if I put it on channel or not already, but either way, we'll say it anyway. This is Benjamin's motor, the guy that crashed my bike, you know, my buddy. So we put this on here. This has now, his motor was an 80cc, that was, cylinder was no good. I put a 49 millimeter on here. And then I also put an OZ Reed on here with a stock carb and what have you. So far we're doing pretty good. We've only started it. That's it. I put it on here just to try it, but everything was broken when I put it on here, so I could only put it around. It needs to be tuned 100%, but it needs to be broken in before it goes on his bike, Mercury, which we're in the process of building. I got in inside my room actually doing stuff. So we are hopefully going to get this together-ish and be able to take this to the mailbox because I have something amazing that came in the mail today. Possibly 2, possibly 3 somethings amazing. We'll see. And we have to get over there to do it. Well, I can get there, but he can't because he doesn't have a bike. I was letting him use Tweaker, but like I said, he smashed it in a fit of rage. Did I say that yet? Well, he did. Let's just face facts. He smashed it in a fit of rage like a big jerk that he is. Everybody should rag on him in the comments or in Facebook chat and group. Yeah. Anyway, so I want to get this back together right so we can, 1, tune the motor, and 2, give him a way to get around, and 3, so he can get a way to get around and come ride with me because he's my buddy. So we got to be able to ride, and his bike is down, and we're still working on that. Plus, I'd love to have his motor completely done, broken in, ready to go by the time his bike is finished, because that would just be, you know, one thing off my shoulders. Plus the YD100, the gear on the other side broke, which is what caused all of this to happen anyway. It wasn't really Benny's fault. The gear had some hairline fractures that, you know, I couldn't see unless I magnafluxed it, and it ended up breaking. And when it broke, the gear on the other side just split in half, like maybe 2/3 or a third split. It just jammed up against the motor, jammed up against the clutch, froze the wheel up. So the motor's 100% good. As far as I know, it doesn't seem to be any issues. It seems to turn over fine. It didn't have any wobbles or nothing really. But that's inside the room, and I got some plans for that I want to play with a little bit, so we're going to play with that, take it apart. I mean, that's got 15,000 miles on it, at least right now. So I need to freshen it up regardless. Plus, I mean, it's working perfectly fine, but I have something I want to do to it. You'll see more about that later. So till then, I figured why not throw this on here, let him ride this around, and break in the motor all at the same time. So when Mercury's ready, we can transplant it right on there, and he's off to the races. All right, let's get at it, guys.